Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank for the kind invitation to this project, and I would like to emphasize we work together with two other colleagues from Miskolc University in this project, Bence and Professor Shanta, and we made this presentation and this paper with Ferenc Shanta. First of all, I would Okay, about the topics. After some introduction words, I would like to emphasize the criminal offences related to illegal migration and the crime of illegal immigrant smuggling and the Hungarian regulation. After the definition and the short legal history, I would like to emphasize the current Hungarian criminal law and the regulation of illegal immigrant smuggling. In the broader sense, migration-related offences can be linked to both legal and illegal form of migration. In this presentation, however, I will focus on illegal migration-related criminal offences. First of all, it should be noted that illegal migration and related activities are considered as illegal activities in all EU member states, but there are differences in the way in which these behaviors are sanctioned by criminal law, by infraction law, or aliens police law. For example, in Poland and in Hungary, individual illegal border crossing is an infraction. An authorized stay is an illegal act sanctioned by alias police authority, while facilitation of unauthorized stay, illegal or smuggling of a human being is a criminal offense. And after that, some words about the criminal offences related to illegal migration. Criminal offences linked to irregular migration can be classified in several ways. The first group you can see includes offences in which migration appear as victims. Most of crimes can, of course, be committed against migrants, but in this context, special mention should be made of those committed with a discriminatory motive because of the victim's membership of the particular group. Examples include homicide or against migrants and various hate crimes, hate speech, for example. The second group of offences related to irregular migration includes crimes in which migrants are in the position of perpetrators. This includes, on the one hand, the already existing traditional criminal offences committed by migrants, for example, theft, robbery, rape, and so on. It is important to note that domestic research shows that the relationships between international migration and becoming a perpetrator of a crime can be considered atypical in Hungary, mainly because irregular migrants treat Hungary as a transit country and do not intend to settle here. In other words, increasing criminality related to the growing irregular migration cannot be objectively justified with statistical data in our country. However, among the ordinary crimes committed by migrants and because of their particularly dangerous nature, a special mention should be made in organized crimes, where migrants set up a criminal organization or join to an already operating organization in the country of destination. On the other hand, crimes related to terrorism should also be highlighted, as result suggests that migrants from terrorist-prone states moving to other countries are one important tool in the spread of terrorism. The other type of crime committed by migrants is not an ordinary, non-traditional crimes. This is the real Hungarian characteristic you can see on the slide. These are so-called crimes against the border barriers. Three criminal offenses fall into this category: unlawful crossing the border barrier, damaging the border barriers, and obstruction on construction work of the border barrier. Finally, the third group of offenses are those that are inherently linked to illegal migration in a narrow sense, which can be considered crimes based on and exploiting illegal migration. This includes, on the one hand, trafficking in human beings by beings, which potentially targets irregular migration, in particular women, children, and young adults. On the other hand, it includes crimes committed with the aid of another person or through specific organizational activities. Under Hungarian criminal law, if the organizing activity is aimed at obtained legal residence status for a person entering or staying in the country illegally, or at obtained international protection without justification, this is the crime of aiding and abetting illegal immigration is committed. If the aid is the obtained financial gain in order to facilitate unauthorized stay of the migrant on the territory of the country, it is the crime of facilitation of unauthorized stay. And if the aid is given to cross the state border illegally, the criminal offense of illegal immigrant smuggling must be established. I would like to discuss this offense, the last one, in a little more detail in the following. Also about crime of illegal immigrant smuggling. First of all, the definition. I note that I use the two terms, illegal immigrant smuggling and smuggling of human beings, as synonyms. According to the domestic literature, smuggling of human beings is a criminal offense linked to migration, the purpose of which is to facilitate the entry of persons anywhere in the world into the territory of a country other than that of their nationality, without otherwise having the required for entry and stay. I would like, you can not see, but I would like to speak shortly about the legal history. It is very interesting, I think. In order to prevent the large-scale emigration that occurred in Hungary at the same time as the communist regime was established, the first year was, you couldn't see, 1948. It was a crime, the name is Provisions on the Use of Illegal Passports and Illegal Border Crossing. On the one hand, criminalized the illegal border crossing the border in an unauthorized manner, and on the other hand, created a specific aiding and abetting type criminal offense of support of illegal passport use and illegal border crossing. This is the crime. This crime will later become the illegal immigrant smuggling. In the second Hungarian Criminal Code, in year 1961, you can see, smuggling of human beings was included for the first time as a separate offense among the crimes against public security. According to contemporary literature, the explanation for this was that facilitating the illegal border crossing is more dangerous to society than the illegal border crossing itself, since when the one hand, the facilitator is at risk of committing further crimes, and on the other hand, the perpetrator of this crime also receives significant illicit benefit. The code punished only the so-called commercial aiding, which mean that the no, még nem. Which means that the offense was only established if the perpetrator acted for the purpose of making of regular profit, but it criminalized a failure to report a smuggling of human beings as a separate offense. And the third Hungarian criminal code in year 1978 included illegal immigrant smuggling among the crimes against the law enforcement. The base case of the offense was established if the perpetrator committed the crime for financial gain, and the commercial aiding was one of the aggravated cases of the crime. Finally, in 2002, the legislator decriminalized the illegal border crossing. The act is no longer a criminal offense, only an infraction. And from then, the legislator linked smuggling of human beings not only to the illegal crossing of Hungarian borders, but to any state's border. And the purpose of financial gain is no longer an element of the base case of the crime. No, okay. Okay, super. And some words about the current current crime of illegal immigrant smuggling in the current Hungarian criminal law. You can see, yes, you can see the base case of the crime in Article 353. Section 1. The title of chapters of the Criminal Code always refer to the protected legal object. Illegal immigrant smuggling is defined by the legislator in the chapter titled Crimes Against the Order of the Public Administration. The order of the public administration as a legal object means the social interest for the proper functioning of public administration in the broader sense. The protected legal value of the crime in a narrower sense is the order of border traffic, the proper functioning of the border control, and the social interest of preventing illegal migration. The question arises as the whether there is the victim of the crime. In our view, the answer is no. Because the victim is the person whose rights or legitimate interest is violated or threatened by the crime, and the aid to cross the border illegally does not violate the migrant's rights. Moreover, the perpetrator commits the crime in the migrant's interest. If, however, the perpetrator commits the smuggling of human beings by tormenting the smuggled person, this is the aggravated case of the crime, or commits another offense against the migrant, the migrant becomes the victim of the illegal immigrant smuggling. And about the conduct of the crime is so-called sui generis aiding and abetting conduct, which means that the legislator punishes an aiding and abetting time act as a separate criminal offense. The perpetrator aids the unlawful crossing of the state border. This aid is linked to the infraction of illegal border crossing, since, as I have mentioned, under Article 204 of the Infraction Act, anyone who crosses or attempts to cross the state border of Hungary without authorization manner commits an infraction. Have a time or it is have time? Okay. And the first issues to be clarified is what is means by crossing the state border without authorization or in an unauthorized manner. This act is understood to mean on the one hand, crossing the border without valid travel documents or with forget of falsified travel documents. On the other hand, since the external borders of Hungary can be entered at border crossing places or border crossing points, it is prohibited to cross the green border or to swim or the both across border rivers. The second question that needs to be answered is what it means by the criminal conduct of the perpetrator, the aid mentioned. This can only be achieved through active acts, whether physical or psychological. Physical aid is, for example, when the perpetrator transports the person intending to cross the border to the near points of the entry, or when the presents himself at the border crossing point while hiding the person in his vehicle. I have some practice. The following acts is the smuggling of human beings in could carried out. You can see on the slide, for example, transport near the state border, or hiding illegal border crossing resting place pending preparation for further transport. And finally, it is worth mentioning that the conduct can be committed either by crossing the state border inwards or outwards. And it is irrelevant which country's state border is crossed. Smuggling of human beings can be committed not only near the state border, but also anywhere in the country and even outside the country, provided that this conduct facilitates the unlawful crossing of the state border. Anyone can be a preparator of smuggling of human beings. It is an intentional crime. The perpetrator must know that the people who want to cross the state border want to do so in violation of the law, and they need help to achieve this. As regards the stages of the offense, not only the attempt but also the preparatory act are punishable. According to court practice, a person who undertakes to escort a migrant across the border but they are arrested by border guards is committed the perpetrator of smuggling of human beings. As regards the aggravated cases of the crime, the smuggling of human beings is punishable more severe if the crime is committed. And you can see on the slide, the next slide, the differences between these cases. Between 10 and 20 years if the crime committed as an organizer director of the aggravated cases. Okay. And finally, as regards to change of the sanction system, it is worth mentioning that our criminal code made expulsion mandatory for smuggling of human beings. It is from the provision that if the perpetrator of the crime is a foreign person, the real aim is not the imposition of an imprisonment, but the criminal expulsion and deportation of this perpetrator from the territory of Hungary. The new legislation no longer recognizes the right to respect for family life as a limit of expulsion, and compulsory expulsion in other example of the deprivation of judicial discretion. And to close my presentation, I would like to briefly mention only one issue. First of all, I would like to point out that smuggling of human beings is usually committed in an organized manner, including as part of a criminal organization. As migrants have to cross the border of several countries in order to reach their destination country illegally. So the crime is usually perpetrated within the framework of the well-organized international criminal organization. It is interesting to note that many former criminal organizations which use the transport illegal goods such as drugs across the EU borders are now trying to profit from immigration. It can be seen that criminal organizations participating in illegal immigrant smuggling pose a great challenge to law enforcement against this at both domestic and international levels. Therefore, most countries, including Hungary, try to create an effective legal framework against criminal organization. This issues has been dealt with in detail in our blog article. You can read more about this question. Okay, thank you so much.